this bubblegum machine put back up, put away, and that'll be it. I mean, I gotta take this table up to the UPS store, take that back to them in like the next 30 days, I guess, because like I said, that table that they shipped to me was messed up. So that's pretty much it for right now. We'll be ready to rock and roll. Like I said, by Monday of next week, it'll be like I've been here, you know, forever. But you know, once you kind of find your niche or you find your thing, you know, you got to go after it. You go completely after it, and you don't take any shortcuts. You just do what you have to do. So now, that's where I am now. It's time to really make it happen. I do need to get a dry erase board. I keep forgetting that, but I'm gonna have to go pick one up from like one of these warehouses or something on the weekends and install that on Sunday. And that will be it. And that will probably cut down on me having to go to that little boardroom all the time and shoot my little board session or whatever over there, because I'm gonna set one up basically in here. And the carpet came, and I'm waiting for the couch. The couch will probably come in the next few days. And I think I am gonna go back and get that chair, because that chair keeps just standing out to me. I really wanted it really badly. So hopefully I can go over there and talk them down to like 50 bucks for that leather chair. And I want to get a love seat back here as well, or some type of couch or something back there, because even though I have a standing desk, or it's kind of like an architect's drawing table, I want to have something back there. I don't want to have a traditional desk. I just want to have something where I can sit there, talk to people. I'm going to have double monitors in the back on that desk somehow. I'm going to do that. So I may have to get another standing desk, but I'm going to put double monitors on that, and eventually get a straight up PC in there instead of just my laptop, and a PC out here as well. And yeah, I do want. I'm debating, because I'm thinking, like, when you have people come in and sit down, you know, how do you want them to sit down? And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, traditionally I have chairs. I do have 2 office chairs that I had in my other office, but I'm thinking now I kind of want to have some type of couch or something back there that's a little bit more comfortable for them, and I can just sit in the chair myself and listen to what they have to say, and you know, we'll go from there as far as what we need to do on anything else. And there are other conference rooms in here, so it's not like it's a complete loss or a complete changeover from things that I've done in the past. I think if it's a really big situation or a really big meeting, we can just go down the hallway to one of the conference rooms, and that'll be it. So yeah, I don't know if I had a chance to actually show you guys some of my artwork that I'm gonna put on here. So Berkeley. So these pieces are some of the pieces my kids made for me. I'm gonna put them up in my office. I thought this was pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it or not, because I got this thing in the way on the camera. But can you see it? It's pretty cool. I like this piece a lot too. I'm just not really exactly sure how to hang it. Like, is it like that? Can you see that?
Yeah, it's like that.
Or is it like this? Is this the way you're supposed to hang it? I think it looks better like this. Or like that.
Daddy, put it the way it is.
Like this? Like that? Okay.
How Puppy made it like 2 trees.
Yeah.
You're supposed to make it only one way.
Right.
Not 2.
And then this one, this is really good, I think. It kind of goes with the mountain artwork that I already have back there. So I'm gonna put that beside my mountain stuff. And this stuff. This is like stars and whatnot.
Shooting stars, those one shooting stars.
Right. And this is the one you made me, huh? Basquiat. Really young Basquiat. Right? Like this, right?
Yeah.
Like this one. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And that's the art. I gotta get some the Velcro things from Walmart to put these pictures up on the wall, and I'll probably do all of that tonight. At least I'll get those things, and I think I'm still waiting on my modem too. My modem hasn't arrived, but for the most part, that's it. I mean, I gotta get these Velcro things to stick everything up on the wall. I gotta put some other stuff up on the wall, and I'm gonna put this painting up on the wall. But I probably won't really deal with that type of stuff until this weekend because I have other things that I need to manage. I gotta go to court a few times this week, and so that's essentially it. I mean, nothing else is really going on right now that is like of utmost importance, other than just working these cases. And generally speaking, I work the cases the first half of the day, and then I come in here and I try to get some of this stuff situated the second half of the day. So it's still really frustrating to look at. I'm looking at the screen, but I know I should be looking at the camera. The camera. Yeah, so I'm back at the office now by myself, and I was reading in Overdrive magazine how they were talking about in Tucson, Arizona, Pima Community College is offering the first autonomous truck driving certificate program, and it's really interesting to see that how that's going to work. You have to already have your Class A CDL license before enrolling, and it looks like they're going to teach you, everything that you need to know about autonomous trucks. The company that is, I guess, sponsoring it, or who is kind of providing the training for autonomous driving, is called Too Simple, like TU and then simple, one word. They're going to focus on teaching you how autonomous trucking will work, but also, when you will have to take over as a truck driver in situations where the autonomous system will just not work, and also how to, I guess, command the autonomous system in like some type of carrier. So I just thought it was really interesting. You might want to check that article out in Overdrive magazine. Autonomous, everything is coming. Robots are invading every aspect of our lives, not just trucking, but the legal system and everything that you can think of as well. So probably the best thing you can do for a job or a future in trucking or in transportation infrastructure in general is just to always try to stay on top of the most cutting edge technology that there is out here on the market. So, like I said, I just wanted to bring that up real quickly because I thought it was really a very interesting point, and we'll see what happens with it. All right, it's the Big Rig Bull, Texas truck accident lawyer, Reshard Alexander, here again. Today, I believe it's going to be episode 23. Today we're going to start part 2 of onboard electronics. Today, instead of talking about vehicle equipment, we're going to talk about fleet equipment. All right. So I think we talked about it briefly yesterday. I gave you the definition of fleet equipment. Quick reminder, fleet equipment is used to monitor, assess, evaluate fleet's performance. When we're talking about the fleet, we're talking about the motor carriers, all the trucks, all the commercial motor vehicles that they have in their arsenal. Okay? So yesterday we talked about vehicle equipment and how to monitor, things that can go wrong with one particular commercial motor vehicle. Well, today we're going to talk about how can you monitor the entire, array of vehicles, trucks that you have out on the roads if you are a motor carrier or an owner-operator. All right, so the first thing we talk about is GPS equipment. Okay, well, what is GPS equipment? It's satellite-based navigational system that is used to determine the position, velocity, and time. So how does the GPS equipment work? Okay, well, the GPS equipment works by the satellite sending out or broadcasting radio signals down to receivers here that will triangulate 2D and 3D positions on Earth to determine where this particular box or item or truck is located. All right, that sounds easy enough. I mean, that's common sense. We all use GPS at this point with our phones, Google Maps, Bing, Yahoo, Woz, however you say that. We all use GPS, so we're all familiar with it. The thing about it, though, is that if you're driving a commercial motor vehicle, you can have problems trying to use non-commercial GPS equipment to get from A to B. Why? Because there are a number of issues that commercial motor vehicle drivers encounter that the average passenger driver will not encounter, right? So these are some of the things that people don't take into account when they're dealing with commercial motor vehicles, okay? So the average Google Maps app is not going to take into account the weight of the truck, the height of the truck, the width of the truck, the length of the trailer, 53 feet usually, the axle loads, whether it's transporting hazardous materials, okay? Bridge heights, which are a huge deal for truckers, okay? Because if you're driving your Range Rover or your Tesla or your Pinto or Gremlin or whatever you're taking down the road, you're not thinking about, oh man, that bridge is only 14 feet and my truck is 16. So I can't go down there. You're not even thinking about that. But truck drivers have to think about these things all the time. Weight restrictions. Some trucks can't travel on certain bridges and certain roads because the bridge or the road may not hold up under all that weight. Commercial motor vehicles have to take that into account. Passenger cars usually don't. Okay? So luckily, most of the trucks that are being built these days are being integrated with GPS systems that account for the trials and tribulations that an average commercial motor vehicle driver would have to endure and that the rest of us would not. Luckily for them. So moving on to the next chapter, our next subject, we're going to talk about vehicle tracking and mobile communication equipment. Now, if you aren't really familiar, if you're a truck driver or you're someone in the trucking industry, you probably are already familiar with all this stuff. I'm certain of it. But Qualcomm systems are like the most widely known type of trucking system used to communicate between the dispatcher and the actual truck driver. And that's the dominant name given to almost every other type of system, even if that is not the system they use. So some of them may use PeopleNet. But even if they use PeopleNet, usually they're going to refer to it as the Qualcomm system. All right. So what do these systems do, though, that are different than what we talked about with the GPS for passenger cars and everything like that? Well, they monitor the vehicle. They monitor the driver's performance. They can tell you about when the freight has been delivered. And most importantly, they allow dispatching between the dispatcher or the motor carrier. I'm sorry, not the motor carrier. The dispatcher or dispatching center and the truck driver. All right. So when we talk about these systems, what are the other things though that they do that is so important to a motor carrier? It can tell them the fuel use, the miles driven, the time spent at each stop, and it can record the duty status, most importantly, of the truck driver while they are on the road. Because that is probably the most important thing that they want to know about is, are you staying within your hours of service, right? How do they do this? They do this by satellite, and they do this by cellular communications, okay? And the information that we're talking about through these Qualcomm systems is relayed consistently to the dispatcher and in the event of an emergency to the safety director. Now, what are the common features of these things? Like I said before, vehicle tracking and fleet management. So think about it like this. If someone steals a trailer, and people do that in these lots, I used to work for OnStar when I was in college for a bit of time. And we were customer service in Charlotte, at least, for OnStar systems. So if someone stole your car, we could immediately pull it up where the car was heading in California or wherever, and we could tell you and the police where to identify and find the vehicle. Well, Qualcomm, these types of systems have that same type of capability on some of them as well. So they can track stolen goods, they can track stolen trailers, 18-wheelers, and stuff like that, right? Messaging. Okay, messaging between the truck driver and the various other parties allows the truck driver to receive instructions. It allows the truck driver to tell emergency personnel about vehicle breakdowns. They can get directions from it, and it can tell them about loading and unloading their cargo where they need to load it or where they need to get rid of it. The other thing that they can do is onboard logbook recording. Like I said before, you can keep up with your hours of service and everything on through this system. If the system was ever to go down, of course, the driver would have to record it by hand and then enter it as soon as possible when everything gets back up. And they're also required to have a informational packet on board in the cab that details how to actually work that thing, how to work the onboard logbooks on this system for them. The other thing is, like I said before, it monitors fuel usage, speed, logbook status, delivery time, which is still pertinent for owner-operators as well, because even if you are an owner-operator, you have your own operating authority, there will be times, as we said before in one of the past vlogs, where you may work for yourself, but you may also work for someone else or a number of other people. And so having a good vehicle tracking and mobile communication system is essential in all this. The other thing is the daily vehicle inspection reports also are something else that can be employed or given out to others by using this. The other thing that I wanted to talk about briefly before I got out of here is critical event reporting, which is probably the most important thing for lawyers, obviously, that practice truck accident law, is that these types of systems can also monitor hand braking. They can monitor whether an airbag has been deployed, and they can also view or monitor a collision that will take place. They can give you that information because it's recorded on an event data recorder that will capture those moments and basically save them for future lawsuits and investigations. I'm going to stop this presentation right here because tomorrow I think I'm going to talk about ECMs. So I hope you enjoyed all this. I know it might have been a little bit of jarbled or I'm going to stop the presentation right here because tomorrow I want to talk about ECMs. So I hope you enjoyed all this. Hope you understood it. If not, feel free to give me a call. Let's talk about it. So once again, this is the Big Rig Bull, Texas truck accident lawyer, Reshard Alexander. Have a great night.